I'm going to show you what has happened with the Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage market, and then you can let me know if you think it qualifies as a collapse. This isn't meant to scare, it's just to show you what is happening and what options you do have through all of this. Medicare Part D went into full effect in 2006 to help Medicare beneficiaries cover prescription drug costs. By 2007, there were 50 insurance companies who were willing to offer drug coverage plans, with each company able to offer multiple plans with different coverage levels. The point of mentioning that is that there were more than 50 total plans offered by those 50 companies. 18 years later, as a result of pharma, government policy, the baby boomer bomb, and insurance companies needing to stay profitable to stay in business, we have a dramatic reduction. In 2024, only 11 insurance companies were willing to offer standalone Part D drug plans. The full implementation of the Inflation Reduction Act went into effect in 2025, causing even more carriers to leave the market, leaving just 7 national insurance companies offering Part D drug coverage. And now for 2026, we have just 5 national insurance companies offering Part D drug plans, with the maximum number of plans available to people in a particular area being 12 that I've seen, but in many areas it is 10 or less. If we use the stock market as a reference, a quick decrease in 10% or more is considered a crash. A prolonged decline of 20% or more is considered a depression. With Part D, over the last 18 years, we have seen a 90% decrease in insurance companies willing to step into the prescription drug insurance arena. We have seen a 90% decrease in the number of drug plans available for you to choose from. And just from 2025 to 2026, this 1-year change, there is a 31% decrease in the number of Part D drug plans being offered. The Part D market is not gone, but it is holding on by about 10 or 12 threads. If this doesn't constitute a collapse, I don't know what does. For those of you who rely on Part D drug coverage, the consequences of what is happening here have 5 significant impacts on what you are having to deal with. First, your maximum out-of-pocket cost for medications is capped at $2,100 for 2026, which is a good thing for those with high-cost medications. I do want to point that out. This helps many Americans on very high-cost medications get relief from financial ruin that could come as a result of needing life-saving medications. But that comes at a cost, and this is important. Your monthly premiums just to have your Part D drug plan do not count towards that $2,100 max out-of-pocket number. They are in addition to that number. This matters because the monthly premium costs to have a Part D plan have, on average, increased quite a bit. For example, the government regulates how much an insurance company is allowed to increase the monthly premiums from 1 year to the next. From 2025 to 2026, that max was a $50 per month increase. Not $50 total for your monthly premium, $50 more than what you were already paying. There are multiple plans experiencing a $50 per month increase from 2025 to 2026. Some of you watching know this all too well. That's an extra $600 a year in fixed costs for those of you going through this. I've seen others in the $30 and $40 per month range for increases. In 2026, if your Part D drug plan is $45 a month or less, you are now on what is considered a low monthly cost plan. This is a sad reality. Are there still plans that are $0 a month? Yes. Are there still plans that are less than $20 a month? Yes. Did a lot of $0 a month plans get increased? Also yes. In many areas, not all, the $0 plans many people were on with a particular insurance company starting with a W went up somewhere between $5 and $12 a month. I picked a random zip code in California, and the monthly premium cost for the plans offered in that zip code went $0, $5.50, $6.20, so far so good with the lowest 3. But then the fourth lowest was $70.60 a month. Fifth, $103.60. Then it kept climbing until you get to $172.90 per person per month for a drug plan. Again, if you are on a drug plan that is less than $45 a month, you're on a low-cost drug plan. But this monthly cost is only part of the equation you need to be aware of when making your plan choices. And it leads me to the second way the collapse impacts you, and that is the drug formularies. Formularies are a list of approved medications that are covered by your drug plan. Insurance companies are not required to cover every possible brand of every possible medication class. When we get into prescription drugs, there are different classes of medications that treat particular classes of illnesses or therapeutical outcomes. For example, Beta blockers are a class of medications used to treat heart conditions like high blood pressure. There are antidepressants, there are antibiotics, there are antihistamines, and a bunch of other classes. And the point here is that the formularies need to have medications covered in each class, but they do not need to cover every medication offered within each class. The insurance company has a pharmacy and therapeutics committee that decides which brands of medications are within each class and are going to be on formulary based on the clinical efficacy of those medications and, yes, the costs of those medications, both to you and to the insurance company. So as you shop for Part D drug plans, a huge determining factor for you should be which medications you need are on formulary, because that $2,100 max out-of-pocket number for drugs only applies to medications that are on formulary with your drug plan. If you are taking medications that are not on formulary, you are responsible for 100% of the cost of those medications. In general, but not always, the lower monthly cost drug plans, those $0 or those $10 a month plans, have more tight formularies. That is the trade-off that you are making. Those lower monthly cost plans are great for those of you who take no medications or low-cost generics or low-cost brands that are on formulary. But in general, once we start getting into the big dogs of the high-cost medication world, it's the higher monthly cost plans that will generally have a bit more formulary flexibility. There are exceptions, but that is a general rule here. If you select a plan during the annual enrollment period and it starts January 1st, but then August rolls around and you get a new illness that is requiring a new medication that you didn't know about when you picked your plan, you can apply for a formulary exception. I can't promise that it will be granted, but in situations like this, you do have options to solve problems like this rather than just being out of luck. Now, there are medications that won't be on any formularies. So if you're on some of the exotic, high-cost medications that are not covered by insurance, that's going to be an out-of-pocket experience for you where you could leverage things like manufacturer discount programs for cost help. Even if your medication is on formulary, this leads to the third way that you are impacted by the Part D collapse. And that would be through the tiers of medications. And I know right now you're probably thinking of crying tears, but this is a different spelling of the word tiers. With drug plans, that big formulary of all of the medications is further organized into tiers. Most drug plans have 5 tiers. Tier 1 is preferred generics, Tier 2 is generics, Tier 3 is preferred brands, Tier 4 is non-preferred brands, and Tier 5 is specialty medications. As you go up in tiers, in general, the cost of the medications themselves go up, as well as your cost-sharing responsibility also goes up. There may be plans where you have a $0 copay for preferred generics, or maybe it's $1 or $5, and then Tier 2 may jump up to $10, and then Tiers 3, 4, and 5 will be a percentage coinsurance. A lot of drug plans for 2026 are moving to that percent coinsurance instead of a set copay for all or most tiers. So this is a change that many people will be seeing headed into 2026. Check your annual notice of change, also called an ANOC letter, to see if your medications were moved to different tiers. Check your ANOC letter to see if coverage moved from a copay to a coinsurance arrangement. All right, the fourth impact on you would be the plan deductibles, and those are a real thing, and they have increased. The government sets a maximum deductible allowed for drug plans. That went from $590 in 2025 up to $615 in 2026. The deductible is a dollar amount that you need to pay first before the insurance company starts to help out. For example, if I have $1,000 in drug costs, not only do I pay the monthly premiums first, but my drug plan deductible is $615. I also pay the first $615 out of my own pocket, and then the remaining $385 is handled through the insurance company. It will be split up with my copay or my coinsurance amount still coming out of my own pocket, and then part of it would be covered by the insurance company. Using that same random zip code in California, 9 of the 12 plans had the full $615 max deductible. One plan had a $601 deductible, one plan only had a $130 deductible, but the monthly premium cost to have that plan was $165, and then one plan had a $0 deductible with a monthly premium cost of $172. So for many, your monthly premiums have gone up, and so has your deductible. There are Part D drug plans that will cover Tier 1 drugs before your deductible. So for preferred generics, you could still have those covered before the deductible is met on some plans. But again, out-of-pocket costs here are going up. For those of you with significant drug costs and you have been cruising along the latter part of this year with pretty reasonable out-of-pocket costs, Remember that your deductible and the maximum out-of-pocket reset on January 1st. January is a tough month for many people as these limits reset, so be sure to budget for this. Okay, the fifth and the last major way that this impacts you is specific to those of you who currently use an agent or broker, or you'd like to use an agent or broker, someone to help you through this process. If you don't use one, that is okay, and this does not apply to you. This kind of has a winding thread here between a few things going on, so it takes a little explaining. Back in 2024, some insurance companies offering Part D plans stopped paying commissions on a larger scale to agents who helped people with their Part D drug plans. In 2025, the vast majority of insurance companies cut commissions. And now for 2026, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 plans that offer commissions at all. The rest do not. So this has led to some problems for agents as well as for you, the people who need help with this drug coverage. If an agent or broker accepts any commissions from any insurance company for offering Medicare help, that broker is legally not allowed to charge you for their help. I get people who ask me all the time, how much does it cost to use us or my partners for Medicare help? The answer is always 0. We cannot charge you. So if I contract with XYZ insurance company who pays me a commission for people I help get on their Advantage plan, as an example, and I help those people throughout the year with the questions that they have related to that plan. But then you and I have a conversation and we decide on a supplement plan, which is a better fit for you, and then you need a standalone drug plan from company ABC over here that has the best drug plan for you. And company ABC does not pay a commission for that drug plan. I legally cannot accept any money from you for help with that drug plan because I get paid a commission on other Medicare plans completely separate from our interaction and from other companies, or even that same company with different plans. We get very kind people who try to compensate us for our help, and the gesture is very sweet, but we have to decline it every time. This makes finding help for Part D a bit problematic for you. I can't speak for every agent, so this doesn't apply to all, but most agents are doing one of the following. First, they are not helping with Part D reviews, period. This is a subset of agents who aren't willing to take on the time and risks to help with Part D, whether you are an existing client or not. Second group, many agents will only help existing clients with Part D reviews. If you are not using the agent for your supplement plan, they are kindly going to refuse taking the time and the risk to help you with Part D without compensation. However, if you have your supplement plan with them, they will review and help you with your Part D plan. Many are leveraging technology that's available to help with this, where you can put in your medications, you can see the plans and the costs, and then review that with the agent after you've completed those steps. I would say that this group is probably the more common of the two, but I also hear from many people saying their agent who has their supplement plan already is just unwilling to help with Part D anymore. So that would be that first group. If you are new to Medicare and going on it for the first time, similar thing applies here. If you reach out to an agent for help and you're willing to let them help you with your supplement plan, many will also help you with the Part D plan, even though they aren't compensated for that. Some still won't help. There is a special subset of people who happen to be agents who are receiving commissions from insurance companies and are doing what some call creative and others call illegal activities. They spin up a separate company that they own. Then this company does not get commissions from insurance carriers, and that company consults or advises people on drug plans for a fee. Now the business entities can get the commissions from their insurance activities from that company that handles those plans and collect a fee from their other company that isn't helping people get on commissionable plans. This is not allowed by the rules of Medicare. Some agents don't realize this and are doing it unknowingly. Some absolutely know and just don't care. Another group of helpers available to you would be flat fee Medicare advisors who charge a fee for Medicare advice. They are not agents, they are not certified with any companies and cannot intervene on your behalf, but they can advise you on Medicare plans and they charge you a fee for that advice because they are not receiving any commissions from any insurance company. Finally, there are SHIP volunteers in each state. Some states have different acronyms, but these are wonderful individuals who offer their time to help seniors with Medicare decisions. I am biased here on where I think you would get the most value and expertise. There are pros and cons to all of these, but may I suggest one more option for you? I am not licensed nor able to help everyone one-on-one with their Part D drug review. But what I can do is make a video that shows you exactly how to find the lowest overall cost drug plan for you. I make these every year where I go through the Medicare.gov website and their prescription drug plan tool where you can put in your medications, your preferred pharmacies, and you can see which plans have the lowest overall cost to you and then sign up for that plan right then and there. I am making one for 2026, but I release it on October 15th each year because Medicare.gov activates the sign up button on October 15th, and I want that to be shown in the tutorial. So if you're watching this before October 15th, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to be notified when that video is released. If you are watching this on or after October 15th, you should still subscribe and watch that video for the 2026 year. The last thing to address here in this video would be programs like GoodRx or Canadian pharmacies. I'm going to use the name GoodRx because it is probably the most well known, but know that there are other programs like it, and these are ways that people can find medications at times at lower costs than their drug plans. Where this ultimately becomes a benefit to someone is if you are not going to hit your deductible or your out-of-pocket maximum on your drug plan, or you are getting a medication that is not on formulary. Remember, on Part D drug plans, you have a deductible, the amount that you have to pay first before your plan starts covering anything. If you don't take many medications and GoodRx has a lower cost than your drug plan anyway, bringing your annual cost to less than your deductible, go for it. Where GoodRx gets tricky is that first, they aren't lower cost than your drug plan every time. Second, any money that you spend getting medications through GoodRx does not count towards your drug plan's deductible or max out-of-pocket. Third, GoodRx does not have a max out-of-pocket, so you are not capped on out-of-pocket costs going through that program. Finally, GoodRx coverage does not count as creditable drug coverage, meaning it does not help you avoid Part D penalties if you were to decide to get a Part D plan later. So there can be benefits to using things like GoodRx in certain cases, but for seniors, it's not really on a huge scale, especially if you have high-cost medication. All right, my final thoughts here. I still think it is a collapse in how the Part D program is being delivered. The good news is that you aren't left without any options. The bad news is that we have an oligopoly happening here where only a handful of companies are offering all of the viable options. And I don't see this as an oligopoly of big evil titans controlling the means of production, because there isn't a ton of profit in Part D plans themselves. It's just that the regulations and the cost to do business in the Part D sphere continue to go up, and more of that risk has been shifted to insurance companies, leaving most, as in 90% of them, leaving, washing their hands of this market because it will leave them with severe losses. And all of this together makes things more complicated, more confusing, and more of a headache for you as these roller coaster shifts in rules, regulations, and plans happen, and agents or brokers are no longer able or willing to assist without compensation to do so. Those are the realities of the situation. I am not saying that I like them. I am not saying that I am supportive of them. I'm just a Medicare nerd trying my best to show you how it all works so that you are better able to make decisions that are in your best interest. The secret code word for this video is NERD. If you would like to watch the video on how to find the lowest cost drug plan available to you, you can find that video right here. Or if you'd like to watch a video where I go over your different Medicare helper options and the pros and cons of each, like ship volunteers, agents, or flat fee consultants, that video is right here. Thank you for making it this far. I will see you over in one of those.